I'm 82. I spent my entire life at home raising my children. I'm 82 years old, and I need to tell you something nobody told me when I was young. My name is Dorothy, and I spent my entire life raising my children. I thought that's what a good mother did. I thought sacrifice meant erasing yourself completely. I was wrong, and now my children are grown, and I don't know who I am. I'm going to tell you something that might upset some people, especially mothers. For 60 years, I made myself small. I put everyone else first. My husband, my children, my grandchildren. I said yes to everyone and no to myself. Every single time. I thought that's what love looked like. I thought being a good mother meant having no dreams of your own, no identity beyond mom, no life beyond your children's lives. And society told me I was right, that I was noble, selfless, the perfect mother. But now I'm 82. My husband died 5 years ago. My children are in their 50s with their own families, and I'm alone in this house, looking back at 60 years of a life I didn't live, at dreams I never chased, at a woman I never became, because I spent every single day being what everyone else needed me to be. And I forgot to be myself. Let me take you back to 1960. I was 18 years old. I just graduated high school. I wanted to be a teacher. I'd been accepted to the state college. I was supposed to start that fall. Then I met Frank at a church picnic. He was 22, handsome, had a job at the factory. We dated for 3 months. He proposed. My mother said, "Dorothy, this is your chance. Frank is a good man. Don't be foolish chasing some career." So I said yes. I got married in 1961. I was 19 years old. College became a dream I packed away, like my childhood dolls, something I'd outgrown. In 1962, our first son Michael was born. I was 20. Frank worked long hours at the factory. I stayed home with the baby. That's what wives did. That's what mothers did. In 1964, our daughter Susan was born. Then in 1966, our son David. 3 children by the time I was 24 years old. My days became a blur of diapers and bottles and laundry and cooking. Frank would come home. Dinner would be ready. The house would be clean. The children would be bathed, and I'd fall into bed exhausted. Every single night. This was my life. And I told myself it was enough. That being a good mother was the most important thing. That my dreams didn't matter anymore. In 1975, I was 33. Michael was 13. Susan was 11. David was 9. One afternoon, I was folding laundry, and I looked out the window and saw my neighbor Betty getting into her car. Betty worked as a nurse. She had 2 kids, and somehow she managed both. I remember thinking, I wonder what that's like, having something that's yours. But then David called for me. He needed help with homework, and I pushed the thought away, like I always did. In 1980, Michael graduated high school, then Susan, then David. One by one, they left. College, jobs, their own lives. By 1985, they were all gone. I was 43 years old. The house was empty, and I didn't know what to do with myself. For 23 years, my entire identity had been mother. Wake up, make breakfast, pack lunches, do laundry, make dinner, help with homework, repeat every day for 23 years. And suddenly, that job was done. Frank said, "Finally, now we have time for ourselves." But I didn't have a self to have time for. I didn't know who Dorothy was. Without children to raise, without meals to cook for, without someone needing me, I was just empty. I tried to fill the emptiness. I joined a book club, volunteered at church, took up gardening, but it all felt hollow, like I was pretending to have a life. Because the truth was, I'd never built one. I'd spent 25 years being a supporting character in everyone else's story, and I'd never written my own. In 1990, Michael got married, then Susan, then David. They had children. Suddenly I was a grandmother. And I thought, good, now I have a purpose again. So I threw myself into that role. Babysitting, hosting holidays, being available whenever anyone needed me, because that's what I knew how to do, be needed. In 2018, something happened that broke me. Frank got sick, lung cancer. He'd smoked for 50 years. The doctors gave him 6 months. I took care of him, like I'd taken care of everyone my whole life. I brought him water, made his meals, sat by his bedside, held his hand. He died in 2019. He was 81. We'd been married 58 years. At the funeral, our children spoke. They talked about what a hard worker Dad was, what a good provider. Then they talked about me. Mom was always there for us. She sacrificed everything. She gave us everything. And everyone nodded, like that was beautiful, like that was something to celebrate. But sitting in that church, listening to my children describe my life, I felt sick. Because they were right. I had sacrificed everything. And what did I have to show for it? I'd never been to college, never had a career, never traveled beyond 100 miles from home, never pursued a single dream, never became anything except someone's wife, someone's mother, someone's grandmother. For 60 years, I'd existed for other people. And now Frank was gone. The kids had their own lives. The grandkids were growing up. And I was 77 years old with nothing. No accomplishments, no stories, no identity. Just an old woman who'd spent her entire life in service to others. A month after Frank's funeral, my daughter Susan came to visit. We were having tea in the kitchen. She said, "Mom, what are you going to do now?" I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "With your life, now that Dad's gone, what do you want to do?" And I stared at her, because I didn't know. Nobody had ever asked me what I wanted, not in 60 years. I'd spent so long being what everyone else needed that I'd never stopped to ask myself what I needed. Susan squeezed my hand. She said, "Mom, you gave us everything. But did you ever do anything for yourself?" And I started crying, because the answer was no, not once, not ever. That's when I understood. I hadn't been noble. I hadn't been selfless. I'd been a coward. I'd hidden behind motherhood, behind duty, behind sacrifice, because it was easier than figuring out who I was, what I wanted, what scared me, what excited me. It was easier to disappear into other people's lives than to build my own. I'm 82 now, and here's what I learned too late. Being a good mother doesn't mean erasing yourself. It doesn't mean having no dreams, no goals, no identity beyond your children. Because children grow up, they leave, they build their own lives. And if you've built your entire existence around them, you're left with nothing. Just an empty house and an empty life and a woman you don't recognize in the mirror. I love my children. I always will. But I should have loved myself too. I should have gone to college, even part-time, even just one class. I should have pursued teaching or writing or anything that was mine. I should have said no sometimes to the PTA, to the bake sales, to the constant demands. I should have said yes to myself, to my dreams, to the life I wanted. But I didn't, because I thought being a good mother meant complete sacrifice, total erasure, and society told me I was right. My children are wonderful people, but they would have been fine if I'd had a career, if I'd pursued my dreams, if I'd been a whole person instead of just a mother. They would have been better, actually, because they would have seen a mother who valued herself, who had her own identity, who showed them that women are more than just caregivers, that we're allowed to want things, to dream things, to be things beyond someone's mother. But I didn't show them that. I showed them a woman who disappeared, who made herself small, who had no life outside her family. And now Susan is doing the same thing. She's 60 years old. She never worked. She raised her kids. And now they're grown. And she's lost. Just like I was. Just like I am. Because I taught her that's what women do. We sacrifice. We give up our dreams. We make ourselves nothing so everyone else can be something. Last week, my granddaughter Emma came to visit. She's 28. She just got engaged. She said, "Grandma, I don't know if I want kids. I have a career I love. And I'm afraid if I have children, I'll lose myself." And I looked at her, this beautiful, smart, ambitious young woman. And I said, "Emma, don't do what I did. Don't make your children your entire identity. Love them, raise them, but don't disappear. Keep your career, keep your dreams, keep yourself, because they'll grow up, and you'll still be here, and you'll need to know who you are when they're gone." She looked surprised. I think she expected me to tell her that motherhood is the greatest joy, that nothing else matters, that she should sacrifice everything. But I couldn't lie to her, because I've lived that lie, and it's destroyed me. I'm 82 years old, and I don't know who I am. I never got to find out, because I never gave myself permission to try. If you're a young mother watching this, or thinking about becoming one, I need you to hear me. You are allowed to have dreams. You are allowed to have a career. You are allowed to have an identity beyond mom. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to prioritize yourself sometimes. That doesn't make you selfish. That makes you human. That makes you whole. Your children need a whole mother, not a martyr, not a ghost, not a woman who gave up everything and then resented them for it, even if she never said so. I never resented my children, not consciously, but there were moments, thousands of moments, when I wondered what my life could have been, if I'd gone to college, if I'd become a teacher, if I'd traveled, if I'd done even one thing that was mine. And those moments added up into a lifetime of wondering, of regret, of feeling like I missed my own life. Don't miss your life. Don't sacrifice yourself completely. Don't make your children your everything, because when they leave, and they will leave, you'll be left with nothing. And you can't get those years back. You can't go back to 25 and choose differently. You can't go back to 35 and finally pursue your dreams. This is it. This is your one life, and you're allowed to live it, even as a mother, especially as a mother. I'm 82 years old. I spent 60 years raising children, and I'd do it differently if I could. I'd love them just as much, but I'd love myself too. I'd pursue my dreams. I'd have my own identity. I'd be a whole person, not just a role, not just a title, a person with hopes and dreams and a life that was mine. But I can't go back. I can only sit here in this empty house, surrounded by photos of everyone else's lives, and wonder who Dorothy could have been if she'd ever given herself permission to find out. Don't wonder. Don't wait. Don't sacrifice yourself completely. Your children will be fine, better than fine. They'll thrive. But you need to thrive too. You need to be more than just their mother. You need to be yourself, whatever that means, whatever that looks like. Find out before it's too late. Before you're 82 and alone and realizing you never lived your own life. If this means something to you, share it with your daughters, your friends, anyone who thinks being a good mother means disappearing. Leave a comment and tell me what dream you're going to pursue, what goal you're going to chase, what permission you're finally giving yourself, and then go do it. Today, not someday. Today, because your children will grow up with or without your dreams. But you have to live with yourself forever. Make sure there's a self to live with. The clock is ticking for all of us. Don't waste what's left.